I crashed 2 drones for this video. One of them crashed right into the Google office and had to be recovered with a special crane. The other one, well, it sank. How? You're about to find out. Google just spent $1 billion to open one of the most incredible offices of all time right next to MIT. There he is. How are you doing, Sascha?
Good.
I feel like we're doing something illegal. Sascha is my former PhD colleague from MIT and works part-time at the Google Quantum AI Lab. Thank you. Have a good day.
What color do you want?
Blue.
So it will be my visitor.
I used to get free food with friends in Google offices around the world. Can I come here every week to get free food?
I think with the amount of food that you eat.
There we go.
There are no buttons on the floor on the elevator.
16 floors.
I'll just show you around the places I know. We can explore more.
I've been here once actually.
Okay.
One of the main people of Gemini, he just moved here and was like, hey, do you want to work with me? And I was like, no thanks. He showed me around, I was super nice with him. You have 3 laptops with you, and I have 3 iPhones.
Yeah.
Let's check this out.
All the floors have their own theme. This one is quite artsy.
It's so empty. Are people all working from home? I would have expected them to be like the most popular floors. Damn. Okay, so now that we are up here, this is, by the way, what $1 billion gets you around MIT.
So there's MIT. This is where I work.
Okay, this is data.
This is data. Okay, I work in physics. I'll show you.
Okay,
later.
physics is somewhere back there.
This is one of the student housing for MIT.
It's for the rich students.
For the rich students, exactly. Yeah.
It's the
I'm not
premium
there.
students.
You have Harvard all the way in the back.
I don't think we can quite see it, but a little bit maybe. Scandal Square, there's Microsoft Research. I think I've showed you these in some other vlogs. It's an amazing place with so much innovation happening here.
I have a meeting at 1:30, but...
Before heading back for lunch with Sascha to talk about his research at MIT and Google, I'll take my drone out for some cool B-roll footage. Despite being a physicist and despite having studied at MIT where GPS was invented about 50 years ago, I completely forgot that tall buildings cause GPS signals to interfere, so my drone started losing control. Goodbye, drone number 1. May you rest in peace. To give your condolences, please hit the like button so I can afford another drone. And that's how I crashed drone number 1. Luckily, I had a backup drone which I immediately fire up to get all of this amazing footage. It will soon end up much worse than the first drone, but at least I was smart enough to record it for you. The top floor of Google's new office is filled with art from local artists. It felt like I was walking through a museum. Well, that's a much better view here. This is the ugliest building in all of Cambridge, the Greens building.
But they did play Tetris in that.
It's like this handheld video that got, I think, 7 million views or something like that, and the guy was like,
quality.
there you can see the famous MIT Dome. The Great Dome is arguably MIT's most iconic building, so I couldn't help myself and tried some very risky flight maneuvers over it. Is this where I crashed my second drone? Okay, not yet. To how many Google offices have you been?
6 or something.
6?
Been to in Japan, California, a few, Zurich, and here.
I've only been in Mountain View, Zurich, London, New York, and here, the 5.
So you've been in almost as many as me, and you never worked there.
True, it's actually not bad. For someone who just went to the offices to get free food with friends, I'm doing quite well. Actually 6. I've been to the Google DeepMind office in San Francisco. They have good interior designers. 14th floor hackers. Hackerman. On our way, we decided to make a quick stopover in one of Google's many micro kitchens. There's one fancy coffee machine here.
Oh yeah, so one nice thing is all these micro kitchens that you have everywhere.
So you can just take anything.
Just tons of snacks if you feel hungry.
Oh, that's pretty nice. How do you use this fancy coffee machine?
You only have access to the instructions with a cork device.
Well, hey, operating a coffee machine is very secret.
Make your own salad bar.
So you just push something and it comes out? What is this?
So you can just put in your favorites.
That is so cool. Wow, these are actual vinyls. Wait, I want to check if they have something. If I find Elton John, I'll be happy. Poor Sascha had to leave to go to MIT to a meeting. I guess that's what happens when you have two jobs at the same time. But I really want to understand what his research is actually about, so I'm gonna use the sponsor of this video. If you haven't heard about them, Unriddle helps you read and understand scientific papers. They're a great platform to use generative AI to draft faster and get much better at the research that you're doing. To start off, I'm gonna pull up Alexander's previous paper, published together with Seth Lloyd, who is my former PhD advisor. As soon as you upload a paper into the platform, you're ready to ask any sorts of questions, and it can even help you draft these papers. So here we can choose between Claude Sonnet and GPT-4o, so as the models get better, this becomes more powerful. First question is going to be, explain this paper in a way that the average YouTube viewer can understand. Claude Sonnet 3.5 is doing its job. As you can see, it tells you exactly on which pages it found which pieces of information. It doesn't make up stuff, it actually extracts pieces of information from the document itself. If you want to try out Unriddle free of charge today, click on the link in the description. It will also give you 20% off their premium subscription. Incredibly, Google even has a professional chef's kitchen with an on-staff chef who can teach you how to cook gourmet meals when you want to take a break from coding.
Like every floor has its own.
It's beautiful.
Lifestyle.
They have good taste. It's gonna be fun, this video. Searching through the Google office. Trying to find where to get to.
That looks like Switzerland.
Or any other mountain.
No, but look at the like railway sign.
Oh yes.
That looks like Switzerland. So we are in 12. Let's go to 11.
You're in the 12th floor.
Yes.
I'm already lost.
And this is only one of the 5 buildings.
And they're all connected to each other.
I think.
Oh really?
There are two are separate. So those 3 are connected.
And here you can see the mismatching levels. 9 connects to 7.
That's right.
And here 6 connects to 5.
There are micro kitchens everywhere, in case you got hungry going from the 12th floor to the 11th floor.
In case you are going for lunch, but you get hungry while walking towards
Exactly.
lunch.
We can also just get lunch now. It's a lunch cafeteria. Welcome.
That looks pretty cool.
Depending what you want, there's salads here.
Do it look like I ate salads? Sascha, do you get your 10,000 steps in daily here?
Yeah, I'm already at 3,000.
I'm only at 1,000 steps. What is this? Ew, salads. I'm not gonna take anything here. Okay, we have this on record. Samuel is having salad. It's not easy eating and vlogging at the same time. There we go, thanks.
Okay, here's chicken.
Google is out of chicken. It's especially weird because I have to walk around with these funny glasses to secretly record. Fits in well with Google vibes though. I'm out of hands.
I'll get you some.
No, I'm gonna do that. Alright, let's get chicken. I heard that Google spends like some crazy number in the high millions on chicken per year. I can put it on here. I'm gonna drop everything. Ooh. That would have made for a funny clip in the video, me dropping and spilling all of this. Thanks so much for having me here, by the way.
Of course.
So how do you get a job at Google while doing a PhD?
So I'm a PhD student at MIT, and I also work part-time for Google. At MIT, I do theoretical physics, so quantum computing, and I do the same at Google.
Maybe that's the same thing I did to my PhD.
That's the same thing you did, yeah. One of my advisors is your old advisor, as you know.
Seth Lloyd, but we worked in the
That's right.
same group.
That's right.
And I think you appeared in my Day in a Life video at some point.
That's right, that's right.
That's where it became famous, right? So Sascha is a new student here from ETH Zurich.
It's a good pronunciation.
So what are you working on?
On quantum algorithms for algebraic topology and higher homotopy groups.
All of our research is so buzzwordy, like quantum machine learning.
That's true. That's why it gets funded.
So for your PhD, you're doing quantum computing. You also work with quantum computing for Google.
So I work on quantum algorithms. This table is made out of atoms. Atoms are made out of electrons. Turns out these small particles, like electrons, the laws of physics at such small scales are very, very different to the classical laws of physics that we're used to. And then a brilliant scientist named Peter Shor figured out how to actually use those very strange laws of physics to solve some problems much more efficiently than you can do
He
classically.
was actually a guest on my channel once. Do you mind explaining people on the internet what your algorithm does?
No, I'd be happy to.
He's a professor of mathematics at MIT, so he's probably in the shot. He's probably somewhere sitting in the math department
It
there.
was the elevator pitch in an elevator with Peter Shor about Shor's algorithm.
What I'm trying to do in my PhD and also at Google is trying to find new algorithms, so-called quantum algorithms, that can exploit these very strange laws of quantum physics to solve some useful problems much quicker. Physics at this quantum level is very counterintuitive, so you have things like superposition, so roughly speaking, a particle can be in 2 different positions at the same time. And you have other things like entanglement, like long-range correlations. You have to somehow design an algorithm that tries to exploit these weird things to solve some problem that people actually care about very efficiently. So before I started my PhD here, I used to work for Google for 1 year in Venice Beach.
By the way, for those who don't know, right next to the Google Venice office, there's Gold's Gym. If you watched my first episode of my startup vlog series, I actually go into Gold's Gym where Arnold works out and all these people. His office was right next to it.
Arnold still goes to that office,
Yeah.
like in the mornings. So sometimes
You mean to
could
the
see
gym
him-
or to the
gym,
Google office?
the gym.
I don't think
And
he
yeah,
does.
it's right at the beach. They have like surfboards in the office that you can just take and go surfing every morning.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear about your day-to-day routine. So you wake up, do you go to MIT, to Google, or you do both?
Most of my day is just having meetings, doing research. So I usually wake up. I have a bunch of meetings from home. I usually spend.
Where do you live?
Oh, I live next to Harvard at Harvard Square.
I heard you have a very nice apartment.
Yes. So I'm actually living in your apartment, in your old apartment. Sorry.
So if you want to
I'm
watch a
actually living
tour
in
of
your
his home, it's on my YouTube channel already.
Yes, but I'm not in his room. Then I usually go to MIT. Sometimes I just work from the office there. Sometimes I have class. Sometimes I meet other people there, meet my advisors. I come here for lunch. I have some meetings with the Google team usually.
Do you have to work basically twice as much?
It feels more like working twice as much.
Doing one MIT PhD is too easy, right?
Just
Anyone
like
can do that.
The lunch is too good to miss out. So this is the Charles River. You know, it would be perfect for kite surfing. You can windsurf there and everything. There's strong winds.
You could jump over that bridge.
Well,
if you
the
had the
thing
balls
is,
to do it.
The thing is, someone tried to do that and they didn't make it, and that's why kitesurfing is not allowed anymore in the river.
What happened?
So, well, the wind stopped and they landed on the bridge, and
That's very nice though. I love going sailing here, but I haven't learned to kite surf yet. If you want to listen to our whole conversation, check out the link in the description. Before heading out to go sailing, Sascha and I grabbed some amazing coffee, met up with our friend Dohan.
It's some kind of mango vanilla smoothie.
Oh, I'll take that. This is the protein cookie. I wasn't even planning on making our sunset cruise part of this vlog, as we just went sailing for fun and to hang out, so I only have footage taken with my drone number 2. It's not even the original footage, but just a screen recording from my remote controller. The original footage is now at the bottom of the Charles River. Our beautiful sunset sail lasted for an astonishing 4 minutes, until this happened. Goodbye, drone number 2. May you rest in peace. On that terrible disappointment, thank you so much for watching my most expensive YouTube video yet, given that I crashed 2 drones for 1 video. That's to be seen. If you want to see the full conversation with Sascha, you can check it out over here. Also, please help me make this video go viral, given that I have to make the money back for the lost drones, so you can help me by hitting the thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, turning on the notification, and you can leave me a nice comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.